one of my personal favorites.
Cool. Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 20, Dancing Devil. And today we have Firedancer, Bundin, and Fwoot.
Hello.
And we there was a bit of debate and argument about who would get which portion, but we peacefully resolved this.
No, they didn't.
Peacefully.
Indy's a dictator. She forced me out of the fourth part.
Listen, all the time I put into this, I just got that one right. We had to have the proper emotional impact for every part. But you get the butler, so you're happy. You are happy.
At least you can picture him done.
All right. Well, Bundin, take it away.
Okay, so the first thing you see is turn your sound on, which the music in this episode slaps. It's the same one that they used earlier when they're interrogating 𝗥𝗲𝗃, I think, in either 15 or 16.
16.
And yeah, I just love that they reused it, and it's also just has a different connotation this time, and I like that. But I always like to comment about the music as well, because obviously we can't share that. So just wanted to say music in the slaps. We cut to someone's legs clacking, and then we see that those legs belong to Hermann, who's about to drink some coffee, but then he's startled by something, and we see that there's a big crash and that something got thrown into his window, knocked over his coffee cup, broke it, and there's now a black and gold file on his desk, which we know are the loon files.
Wait, you think something got thrown? I
thought he just
saw it.
He just saw it. Oh, I thought he dropped. My interpretation just like. So he just saw it, and so he just saw it on his. Oh, so he's just drinking coffee, saw it on his desk, and dropped it. Oh yeah, You see something new every time. So I'm a little out of it today.
But then how long did you think the file got thrown through his window?
Oh no, man, it's been this is actually the last episode I got to before I caught up with it. So this was about September 2019.
But don't feel bad, because I just reread the episode before doing it, and I did not even understand what was going on. I was like, why are we seeing Hermann drinking coffee? And why did he drop the cup? I did not get, and I was like, well, what does that have to do with this scene?
Okay,
so,
good.
Don't feel bad. Until I reread it just now, I was like, oh, that's why, because it's the whole just there file.
Thank you, guys. Okay, so then we see those golden leaves again in the transition, which we saw in the last one as well.
Which is awesome. It matches with her golden wreath.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, her band in her hair. Then it cuts to this opulent gate, and we see Lauren and Kieran strolling through the city, holding hands among all of the other rich people. Then they go up to a door, and the door guy says, "Good evening, sir, madam. May I take your coats?" And then Lauren's like, "Yes, thank you," and takes off her coat. And that man looks shook. Taking off her coat. Is it just me?
Oh no, he was not prepared. He was not prepared, and I love it.
It's like, I am in such close proximity to this beauty. I am touching the thing that touched her.
Indirect. God, creepy. Yeah, and then I don't know if it's another guy or the same guy, but then we see someone else holding Kieran's coat, cane, and hat, and Kieran says, "Thank you, sir," as he's putting the hat on the pile. And then the guy says, "Have a lovely evening," as they enter the establishment, which is the Golden Clover. And then Lauren and Kieran are next to each other, and Lauren says, "I snuck into the back and did a little bit of reconnaissance there earlier. Found a small locked storage room and set everything up for Anslow there." Then she says, "We won't be disturbed there," as she grabs his bicep to be escorted into the place, I guess. And then she says, "At least until the police get here." And then we get the title card, episode 20. And then we actually see this place for the first time. Looks really fancy. They've got a lot of liquor and alcohol, music, dark wood, paneling, really, really fancy place. And then they're walking in arm's length, and Kieran says, "So our righteous moral officer broke into a bar? Mon amour, you never cease to surprise me." And they both have these smug looks on their face, these fake smiles that are so funny.
No,
Just be a happy couple dating.
Mhm.
He calls her my love. And yeah, I know whenever he says something sarcastic, it's not red. But he still called her my love. And I love it. Actually, by the way, I don't know if I should say this on the podcast. There's somebody, one of our friends, who always calls me like darling. And I'm like, I'm not your darling. And I can't figure out I can't figure out if he just uses it for everyone or if it's like just me. Anyway, but I'm not asking. So
Now you know how Lauren feels on a daily basis.
Yeah, no. It would be really annoying, actually.
Mhm.
And we acknowledge that.
True,
But
true.
anyways, Kieran turns to her and he still has that like really happy, almost too happy, like peaceful smile on his face. And he says, did they teach you that at the police academy or did you study it in your free time? And then Lauren says with an equally as smug face, she says, you don't need a degree in assassination to pick a lock. So the police academy did teach me how to shoot arrogant killers.
and like the contrast between what they're saying and how they are looking is just hilarious.
Mm,
And Firedancer, I
think-
think it's your turn also.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
But
and
one
then,
thing though, before we
Mhm.
start, I also like the fact that it kind of just shows how easily they can blend into the situation, and they're on the same beat. They can blend in and they can act the certain way, but it's only when you pay attention to what they're actually saying that you see what they really are. So it just goes to show how good they are at these infiltration missions.
Mhm.
And I think
Awesome.
that shows it's professionalism, and I like
Yes.
it.
Truly. And then also, like, I think a lot of people have said this before, but just this whole episode gives heavy like Mr. and Mrs. Smith vibes, and it is yes,
Yes.
A+. And then, all right. So Lauren then pulls him onto the dance and says, come on, let's dance. And then you see them getting into positions.
Those fancy high heels.
Looking fancy as heck.
Look like they hurt. I
Oh my
hate
gosh.
heels.
Oh, I
That's
love
metal.
heels.
Oh,
But this-
this reminds me. Sorry. I was just thinking because like I'm looking at that panel of Lauren and Kieran and like they look kind of awkward. But it reminds me that Lauren's dress is actually very like 1920s inspired. But the dress itself is not very 1920s, but the haircut and then the bodice itself does have a lot of 1920s vibes, which again plays into the more like early 20th century and Victorian era aesthetic. But it is one of the more, I guess, revealing dresses that we do see in the series.
Yeah, no,
yeah. And
I
you know
really
where
like
his
it.
fingers be. So
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
But no, I really like the use of different historical inspirations for the different costumes and stuff. So like even Lauren's dress, it's a mix of like a tango dress, but also like the hair and the stuff and the crown thing are very 1920s, but she's got like a corset and it's long and it almost looks like it has a little bustle, but that's probably not it. But like the fold of fabric kind of gives you like Edwardian. I like watching fashion YouTube, so I see all these things and I'm just like, she just looks good. Any era,
Honestly.
she just looks good, and I really like the attention to detail that was put into the costume work in this series.
Yeah.
by the way, I just looked up like when the eras ended. So Queen Victoria died in 1901. So that was the end of the Victorian era. And then there was Edward from 1901 to 1910. So that's the Edwardian era. And then there's George V. So I guess that's the Georgian era.
I guess for the PH world, it's the Philippine era or whatever.
Philippine.
It's like if Edward was the dead king and Edward, died, then that would be the end of the Edwardian era. So if that's in
I like the idea of that. That'd be good. All right, so after that, Kieran asks any sign of Anslow, and you can see people in the distance kind of like talking, mingling, but no Anslow. Says nothing yet. He then proceeds to say, and are you sure none of your rich family friends will recognize you here? Then Lauren, with a surprised look on her face, says, how do you know anything about my family? And then more dancing. He then puts her hand on his waist and says, well, you said you're a Sinclair, so I figured you couldn't exactly be poor, especially since Tristan Sinclair is the chief of police. Some casual deduction work there.
So, and she's also, one of the things that she told him on the bridge was, I don't want you to be involved in my private life. So I think she's not too happy about the fact that he is like butting into her private life.
Yeah. But at the same time, he can also argue where it's like, well, technically this is all like pretty easy information to figure out. I don't even have to go near your private life to figure that out.
I don't need to Google it. Like, it's right there.
Yeah. Tristan's pretty high up in like, in I don't know, the social structure, because he is the chief of police. So I would imagine that for some people, Sinclair is a household name.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but the police commissioner in my country, we call him by his first name. You don't even have to say his last name. You just say his first name and everybody knows exactly who you're talking about, which is just funny.
That's what I'm also assuming, because you come from a smaller country and 𝗏𝗏 seems pretty small. So it's not like, America, like, oh, what's the, the president is pretty much it. But otherwise, like even in my state, like, do I know what's the police? Like, I don't even know what's the chief of police. Like, what? I wouldn't even begin to know who that is. So
yeah.
Like, bro, I don't even know the govenor's name of my state.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I actually met the governor of my state. So
Hey,
nice.
Hey,
I
no.
was at a funeral that he went to.
They make a lot of memes about this guy here. So that's memes about the politicians and stuff is always a thing. But yeah, he was actually on the news today. So it's just like remembering, I was like, oh yeah, that's the thing. So yeah, in this city in particular, and with the level of crime, they probably would have Sinclair be like a pretty well-known name. Like throughout the place. So Kieran probably just figured that out, but then just probably did a quick double check just to see.
Yeah.
And I'd also just like to point out their incredible proximity and their comfort with that proximity. I don't know how comfortable. Maybe you mentioned that Kieran looked awkward. I'm like, maybe he looked awkward because of that, but they're definitely capable of at least hiding it. Like, I don't think they would be doing this at all if it wasn't like necessary to play the part. But I admire the fact that they can do it without blushing, and Kieran without too much innuendo. But we're enjoying it as readers.
Yeah, because that's one thing I do appreciate about this comic is that they're very professional in their relationship, at least at this part, to where they don't get embarrassed easily around each other. They won't like constantly like blush at the thought of people like them. Oh my God, he's gonna be in my personal space, stuff like that. They're just very professional about it. It's just like, this is part of the job. It's simple.
They both have their goals, and they both know that they just have to put up with each other to like get to the goals. And gotta appreciate the professionalism and like the ability to just put things aside and just focus on the mission, even if they're just doing the bantering right now, which the banter.
Yeah, I mean, they're using one another. Like, we can try to deny it, but they are using one another.
Can't deny
that.
that.
100%.
For their own personal goals.
Yeah.
Well, they have the same goal, I'd say. So like it's a mutual goal. I don't know if it's
both of them are kind of vying for some sort of revenge, it seems. Like Lauren, although yeah, she wants to take down the Phantom because it is the right thing to do, she's also trying to get revenge for her childhood friend.
Yeah.
And it is obvious that his death does plague her. So.
And then obviously Kieran clearly has motivation as well, but we don't know that as of yet. So, they're both clearly, it's very personal to them, and they're just the means to the end. So yeah, they'll dance with each other and do all that.
Yeah, because they pretty much established it when they decided to work together. We'll do whatever it takes to get our answers. So this is just one of the many things.
Not so bad, dancing together. There could be worse.
True. At least they can both dance. So
true. And not stepping. I mean, Lauren could do a lot of damage with those heels. So
true.
If she misstepped.
Oh goodness. And then, all right. So after he says, excellent deduction work on his part, then we get this epic pose right here, like staple tango pose, and it is to look at. I will say the dialect. And then she says, "You did a background check," kind of like more shocked that he did that. But then I just need to point something out. This pose right here, it is immaculate for so many reasons. Number one, and the biggest one, his posture right here, it is incredible. Like the shoulders, they are straight back. Him, like the angle of his face, it is beautiful. And then just like his weight is evenly proportioned as well. He's not like leaning on one leg or something. It's even, and it is beautiful. And she's doing amazing things here as well. She's not leaning back too much. She's not leaning forward. She doesn't look awkward, and it is beautiful. I love this panel so much.
Our
But
resident
noted for
dancer.
everybody, I was not such a smart person, and I was like, Firedancer. I was like, why are you named Firedancer? Or when you told me dancer that you're a dancer, I was like, oh, that's why you call yourself Firedancer. So to
That's
anybody
funny.
who does not have detective skills like Lauren, Firedancer is a dancer.
Indeed. Indeed. And this is just one of the many things I appreciate about PH.
Like they clearly did their work to get the poses and stuff right for a tango, and that in and of itself should be commended, because she like so really went out of her way to make sure that it was accurate to the dance itself, and probably took a lot more time. And especially like when you draw, you don't know, like you probably don't know how the tango works really, other than just roses and like that one scene in the Addams Family, Values, which we all love. So I don't know, I just really like, I think that this panel, you can just appreciate the level of work that probably goes into each one of these drawings, and we get so many panels in each episode that we should appreciate all of them.
I think Soph worked with a choreographer friend, like she did in episode 11 and 12. I don't think it's the same person because like fighting and dancing, so it's two different fields of choreography, but I'm pretty sure she worked with a choreographer to draw the scene.
Nice.
No, that would, if she did, that is commitment, and I commend that. That is, yes.
There's actually a panel in here that comes further down that I remember. I used to like to watch dance videos on YouTube, and there's a scene from a movie with a tango in it, and they get to this one part in the tango, and I was like, wait, that's in Purple Hyacinth. And I went and I checked, and I held them next to each other. It was the same thing. And I was just like,
wait, is it the one where she has his leg around his?
yes.
Oh my god, yes, I love that panel so much.
Yeah, I was just like, that's the same thing, but it's just like, yeah, they used real reference, which is great.
Amazing. Yes. So, all right, moving on from perfect posture that I could simp about all day. She then says, very annoyed, I warned you, if any of them are in danger because of you. And then he says, our deal was not to ask personal questions, which I didn't. Nothing's preventing either of us from doing a little snooping without asking. Which technically, that's true. He's not breaking any rules here.
He could have been a lawyer.
True, honestly.
Well, in one fanfic, he is a lawyer. I'm actually reading that one.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Really?
I know that
Bundin.
one. I haven't read that one
Bundin
yet.
this way, like
I haven't read many fanfics, but I am reading that one now. So,
Bundin, imagine like at the end of the series where Kieran has to represent himself in court and he's like about to get the death penalty.
Oh no.
Just like, I plead the
be like
fifth.
Matt Damon in Good Will Hunting, where he's like,
Oh.
he's got the gift of gab and he can just get himself out of every situation.
Yes, that movie's good.
I mean, I feel like Kieran could be kind of like low key if he wanted to, like Silver Tongue-esque. So
Oh yeah, for sure.
He's got
He's
like the
smart, too.
actual skills to like not only like being able to speak to people, but he's got the physical skills to like break out of places and stuff. Like he said, if he got arrested, he'd probably bust himself out within the day. So wouldn't put it past him to be able to like weasel his way out of a legal situation. Then again, Purple Hyacinth does torture us sometimes. So
oh goodness. No, I just want an epic scene where he's like representing himself. He's in the courtroom. And I just picture the courtroom, for some reason they have like giant windows and stuff. But what I picture, he's like over here. He's like kind of starting to win the crowd over a little. And then he just makes his finishing point, and then he's backing up, and then he just falls out of the window, and I'm done. See ya, suckers.
Oh gosh. Yeah, that would be his dramatic exit for sure.
Is it bad of me to think that this comic, this world probably doesn't have like a legal system where you can like represent, like they wouldn't give him a lawyer or anything because corruption and like all that stuff. Like they're just like put him to death. It's like
I think they do have a pretty strong legal system because of stuff that we see later on. I don't want to talk about it, but like there's a lot of stuff that show that the legal system is like ours.
Interesting. Okay.
It does depend though, Mindy, because if the legal system is like ours, it does mean that lawyers for people who are generally poorer and more lower class, it means that those people won't be represented the same way that richer people are going to be represented. And the examples that we do see later on, the person being or the person who is like, you know, being represented, they had money, they married like a rich person, and so like they could afford a good lawyer if they wanted. But I'd imagine in 𝗏𝗏𝗃 a lot of more lower class people can't afford a lawyer, and so even if the justice system does seem to be fair, I think there's always going to be that disparity.
Me and
Yeah, I mean, we know Trevor got away with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, because people can, I think, especially in 𝗏𝗏𝗃 and the stigma around being lower class, especially now that the Phantom Scythe is around, and the Phantom Scythe claims that they represent the lower class and the wants of the lower class, people are going to use the Phantom Scythe to villainize the lower class. And then there's going to be a lot of prejudice against the lower class, and thus there's going to be some mass incarceration of the lower class as well, even though a lot of those people are probably going in there for minor charges or are actually innocent. They just can't afford to properly represent themselves.
Well, I think that might be a little bit too much extrapolation since we haven't seen that yet. I mean, if it's like our system today, then yeah, it's like that, but we just haven't seen particular instances. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it would make sense that it is like that. We just haven't seen it. Anyway, let's get to more lighter topics. Continue with this.
All right, so next what happens is he then pulls her closer after that thing. He then says, "Don't tell me the idea of digging into my past never crossed your mind." And then she refutes his point by saying, "Actually, it hasn't."
Yikes. That's like one of the best lines that I ever read in a book is in a book called Carney's House Party. And basically this girl, it's one of the series in the Betsy Tacy series from like the early 1900s. And this girl has this massive crush on this giant douchebag who mistreats her and is just like not nice to her, not interested in her romantically. She has a crush on him. He doesn't reciprocate, but he does kind of like her attention. And over time she grows and she realizes that like he's not worthy of her, and she, you know, develops other interests in life and, you know, moves on. And when he sees her again after a while where he hasn't seen her, you know, he kind of like tries to flirt with her again just to get her jealous. And eventually she's like, just leave my house. And he's like, "Oh, you must think I'm a cad." She's like, "No, I just don't think about you at all." So that's what it reminds me of.
The energy
What a queen.
is iconic.
Indeed. I love it.
Kind of reminds me, sorry, I saw a meme last night. It's like a text message thing, and the person sent like something, they're like baby, and the person replied fellow associate, and that applies to this so much.
I love that.
I'll send you that later, but yeah.
Please.
You're begging for attention.
Yeah, that has loon energy. Like Kieran's like, "Hey baby," and then Lauren's like, "Hi associate." Like just deadpan it.
No, just, or to make it extremely Lauren style, just like, "Hi baby." Meanwhile, Lauren, "Hello subordinate."
Yep.
Classic.
Indeed. All right, so she then says after that, "Your dirty laundry is all a matter of public record." And then she says this as he spins her around. Also, Very long legs. My goodness.
Mhm.
Yes. The answer body. She then says, I don't even want to try to drag more human skeletons out of your closet.
Ouch. That's a dig at him.
I love that it's both a metaphor and it could be taken literally because, you know, skeletons in your closet is like secrets that you're hiding from people. But she could also be like, you're literally hiding dead bodies in your house. Like, so I just thought that's
it
funny.
goes directly to his heart. I mean, he's not overreacting in this case, but that's like, that's his sensitive point.
Yeah, that's
Conceal,
just
don't feel.
ouch. And then after he spins her, he then it does the tango move where like she goes out from a spin and then they're like stretched out arm in arm. He then says, I'm offended, officer. I thought this would be more exciting for you. Working with a seductively dangerous assassin. Then she says, please don't flatter yourself, subordinate. I've done much more exciting things.
Yeah, Kieran, don't flatter yourself.
I'm like, buddy, it's the inflated ego coming out. My goodness.
Also, something we just haven't mentioned yet.
Mhm.
But this episode, I feel like is one of my favorites in terms of how they're drawn, like their facial expressions, and it's both of them. Like, I really like the details, like the you can see like the nuances and the expressions, and I really enjoy the detail in it and the way that it's lit. Because a lot of the times PH is lit kind of dark, but in this one, the setting means that they're all fully lit, so you can see like everything. And I just really appreciate the way that their faces show their feelings. It's just well done. And also, your boy's still looking pretty handsome.
Honestly, he is. Like, I did not mention it earlier, but there was this one panel, like his jawline. I am jealous. I am jealous of his jawline. Like, he's a beautiful man, truly. He is gorgeous.
We apologize for Fwoot again for the same thing.
Sorry, Fwoot.
I am staring into.
You can take over now and be as not excited as you want for the next part, because the last part is off limits.
I'm staring into my camera right now like I'm in the office. So we get another establishing shot, and it seems like Kieran is glancing over, so they are looking for something as they dance. And Kieran says, like what? Rescuing old ladies' purses.
Oh.
And we see him glance again. Another shot of the bar, and it seems like Lauren's looking this time. And she said, you'd be surprised what I can do with handcuffs.
Ooh,
And
boy.
Kieran's like, And then he turns and he's like, what?
The double meaning.
Oh yes. That
The
is
boy
an
got
order right
shocked.
Okay. Anyways,
What do I think she's saying?
None need the fuck.
Lauren says, like arresting murderers. And out of the corner of her eye, she notices something, and she spins Kieran around.
We totally flew over his reaction. He's like totally shocked.
Like,
He like says, and then he's like, what?
He's like, yeah,
handcuffs, officer. He goes, yeah, police officer, handcuffs, probably arrested a bunch of people. Oh, wait.
Hold on.
Like everything stops and it zooms in on him. He's just like the 𝗏𝗃𝗃 sirens go on in the background. He's like, is that what I think she said?
Kieran's mind is with us. Him and everyone, we are on the same plane.
No, his reaction just reminds me of like the meme where it's the lady and she's looking at it and she's like, the what? I don't know.
Right in front of my salad.
I just appreciate that so much.
So,
But Lauren gets
Kieran-
angry. She's like, how dare you think of that? There's this little vein popping out.
So she notices something out of the corner of her eye. She spins Kieran around, and Kieran says, what are you doing? And she turns a bit to see what's behind her, and she says, she knows my face. And we get this lovely panel of the butler in this hideous panel of Lady A, and it's one consecutive panel. I hate Lady A, and I have hated her ever since we met her. She can burn in the fiery pits of hell, and I would not mourn her. However, the butler deserves everything in the world. And
Why are you hating on
Justice for
Lady
the
A?
butler.
My goodness.
Fire, have you considered the circumstances of their relationship? She is his boss, okay? The power dynamic here is unstable. It is
Hello?
Fwoot.
unhealthy. She
Oh.
controls.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
You're
Oh.
cutting in and out.
Fwoot.
we're losing her.
Oh
Lady A's ghost is haunting this.
How dare you speak negatively about me? Maybe the butler is the one doing it.
no. Oh, Miss Keisha. Miss Keisha.
You good, fam?
Well,
Oh,
hold up. Wait on it.
Okay, well, I guess let's continue. Meanwhile, hopefully who comes back. I texted her.
yeah.
Hopefully.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Oh,
She got yeeted.
uh-oh.
hold on.
Wait, she's probably coming. Where were
Okay.
we again?
There we go.
Lady
Who
A.
was telling
in
us why
Butler
she
Day.
hates Lady A?
Yes.
Okay, yes, okay, sorry about that. So why I hate Lady A? She's his boss, she controls his finances, and she has an emotional dependency on him, meaning Butler can't do anything without her by his side. She is essentially stripping away his own independence and mobility, and she doesn't even acknowledge him by his real name. Like, he's just Butler this, Butler that. So she sees him as his job and not who he is as a person. And if you want a romantic relationship with someone, you should maybe call them by their name.
That is an interesting take, but I will offer you just a tidbit. I read Artemis Fowl in my youth, and he had a butler named Butler because their family were the butlers, and that's where you got the word from. So maybe his name is actually Butler.
No, his name's
Maybe.
Alfred.
No, his name is Alfred. Wait, why did I think his name is
like
Archibald?
his last name.
Hold
No,
on.
it's the last name is Butler. And like Butler has a sister named Juliet Butler. Like that's her name.
Oh.
So it's like maybe. But
I agree. I mean, her behavior is
Yeah.
very over the top and it's meant to be comedic.
Mhm.
But if somebody would behave like this in a real life, we'd be like, you're crazy. Like what's
Yeah.
wrong with you?
you need
So-
you need a therapist. You maybe need some medication. Your butler can like help you with that and like let Butler live his life. Be a lady killer like he is. Not like in Kieran's way, but you know.
Oh gosh.
You had to go there.
I had to
You
go
had
there.
go.
Anyways, this is a Lady A hate account. If I see any appreciation of Lady A, I will snipe you on the spot.
Wait, she does
Yeah,
have a
I
great
guess-
outfit though. Her
I was
outfit's
going to
great.
say, I guess I should take back my statement where I said I liked her dress.
Maybe her butler picked it out, Fwoot.
Yes.
Probably her butler went shopping. Oh yeah, because she doesn't move without him. They went shopping
Yeah.
together.
Probably helped pick her outfit.
Mhm.
But it was his idea to put the thing on her head, which we're about to get to.
Yes.
Also, Lady A abuses birds. Okay. She's an animal abuser. She has a bird in her
the bird is
hair. That
recovering
bird
from
did
a
not.
broken leg.
You know,
I mean-
keeping a bird in your hair is probably not healthy for a bird. It's a small cage, right? That you have to like keep secure to your head. And Lady A, she's all over the place. Like she probably she's probably like doing cartwheels or whatever, looking for her butler. The poor bird.
Well, if we're gonna get super technical, that bird could actually fly out. Like the cage is not really keeping it in. But yeah.
True. And then also, I'm sure she feeds it. I'm sure she's like giving it scraps.
I'm
No,
just here
Lady
like
A, she
listening
probably
to the
forgets.
debate, like
Probably the butler gives us scraps. I don't think she does it.
but
Yeah,
the
true. I feel like she forgets it's on her head.
Oh yeah. Until it poops on her. Hey, if it's on her head, it can poop on her.
True.
So
Yeah.
Kieran noticed.
Oh,
Kieran
wait,
noticed.
we forgot to mention the main thing. It's suspicious that she's here again. This is like a trend. Time
Mhm.
number one was, right outside the police station where she knew something that like nobody else knew. That's time number one. So this is time number two when she appears with Loon or with Kieran, whatever. Kieran Lauren.
I don't think Kieran's never
Yeah.
seen her before, but Lauren has, so
Yeah. I think,
Well-
yeah, because Kieran's just like, the fuck? There's someone you know?
Technically,
friends of yours.
Mm?
Kieran has seen Butler before because in Canvas, Kieran did kill
Oh,
Butler.
yeah.
Yeah, then again, Butler was not as Butler was not as beautiful in Canvas.
True.
So a lot of things
Wasn't?
changed.
What did he look like then?
I mean, he
Kieran
looks
should've gone for
basically
the lady.
basically the same. No, I was mixing up. Tristan looks like Santa Claus.
Yeah,
So Uncle
Yeah.
Tristan, they did him dirty in Canvas.
They did. And then like Kieran had a mustache in Canvas, and I'm like, oh honey, no.
Kieran,
Yeah, he had a fake mustache in the beginning.
This is the first time I'm hearing about this.
are
Oh
you
my
sure
God.
it's Kieran?
No, because like, okay, in Canvas, in the cafe, when they bump into each other, or like when he sees it, originally what happened was like as she's leaving the cafe after the day, he's coming in, and then it's like a whole panel where they're just kind of like glance past each other. He has the fake mustache.
Oh my god. I need to try and find those old Canvas ones to see that. Someone must have a screenshot.
Yeah, I think what I saw, the one was on YouTube.
Ooh, okay. Thank
I
you.
do remember Lauren's mom in Canvas, a queen, a literal queen. She looks so good.
Honestly, I remember vaguely, and it's like, ooh. Yeah,
Yeah.
her parents in general they never looked bad in Canvas or original. I'm like, dang.
To be fair, Lauren's dad kind of looked like a block. Like everything about him was rectangular.
I mean, y'all know I find that her dad looks like my boy Claire Stanfield. We're not gonna get into that.
True. Like, listen. He may have been a block, but he was a cute block.
Oh, that is the best.
He was a block of refined cheese, and I love it.
Yum.
So Kieran notices them, and Butler and Lady A are doing some crazy dance moves. Like Butler flips Lady A around, like literally he's holding her in her arms and her feet are in the air and her head is like down to the floor.
They doing some sort of like swing dance, I think.
Mhm. And
Showing off.
Kieran says, "A live bird? I would ask about the company you keep, but I think I better not inquire further." Lady A is a bird abuser. That poor bird in there. Okay, like imagine being a bird stuck in Lady A's hair as she literally goes upside down.
They got brittle bones, hollow bones to help glide.
Mm.
Could get injured.
Although I will say, I think that bird has emotional damage because, I believe it's next episode, the bird has to witness her and the butler canoodling. So poor bird.
The bird is the most traumatized character here. Forget Kieran.
Yeah,
Forget
so-
Lauren.
You thought
Remember
Kieran was
yes, bird.
traumatized. Look at the bird. Look what you
Remember
did.
last night we were talking
Yeah.
about all the characters should like go through like who had it worse. The bottom instead is like the bird in Lady A's hair. It's like, do I even need to say what happened to me?
So not Kieran. Lauren is, I swear it's not what you think. And at this point, she swings her leg around Kieran's leg.
Oh my god.
This is the panel.
Yeah.
This is the
Flutter,
panel.
Anyway,
from
next
flutter
panel,
worthy.
she dips her back. I'm gonna
Uh-huh.
skip over that panel. And she's upside down and she's looking behind her and she sees a man sitting in the lounge who's drinking some wine.
Probably
And he has
Cabernet
a little-
Sauvignon.
Something. I just want to say, like, the panel where she's looking down, or like she's flipped upside down, like, oh my gosh, she looks like such 20s. She looks like even more 20s themed than she already did. Like, I think it's like this like curl in her hair when she's like,
Yeah.
it's so adorable and I love it. I love it so much.
Ooh, and we're coming down to the end as well. So Mindy, you want to
Mhm.
take it from
Yeah,
here?
I will take over. So yeah, she sees Freckle Face Man, who I love how everything is upside down. It's cute to see that. And we also have a very elegant sofa. I forgot what it's called. Gosh, I should know this because it's from like home decor. Chesterfield, I think it's called, that sofa that he's sitting on. It's like a very fancy sofa. And I mentioned this on the 21 podcast where because he has freckles, he looks more innocent and childlike. So anyway, she pops her head back up and then there is a very big close-up, okay, of their faces. And yeah, I can't even speak. This is just too overwhelming. Their faces are like 0.5 inches away from each other. it looks like
Oh
they're
my
about to
goodness.
kiss, and it is just amazing.
The lighting in this panel alone is chef's kiss. It's beautiful. And just like the detail, like where she's kind of like, I swear, Soph did this on purpose. She did this deliberately on purpose because it looks like they're looking at each other's lips. And I'm just like, I hate it here. I genuinely hate it.
I love it here.
You know what's the best part?
See her lips. Like, I think he's looking at her eyes because like they're so close together that he literally would not be able to see her lips. Like,
No, I think that the way he looks, he's just kind of shocked that she went up in there, and she's just like looking like the most confident woman on the planet. Like, yes, and he's just like, and he's just kind of shocked. Which, like I said in the last episode that we did, Lauren shocking Kieran and catching him off guard is the times that we see him being his most like true to himself. So first time was when she showed like she had her outfit and her gun, and he was like, oh, and now this when she's getting all up in his face, because he probably did not expect that to happen at all. And him being caught a little off guard is very like interesting in terms of his character, because he's been this entire time he's been super confident, super like chill and like trying to like tease and stuff, but then the second that she's getting up in there, he's just like, oh, like that was not expected.
He's one of those people who they will dish it all day until people are just like red-faced, but they can't take an ounce of what they give. They cannot. They malfunction. And
she's giving him back his own game, because he's the one who always like does a little bit of flirtation and innuendo, and like she didn't have to lean in. Like they've been communicating through like distances. She didn't have to lean in like this to tell him. She did it on purpose.
Anyway,
also like the movement of the light as well. That's great.
Oh,
in my opinion, the most beautiful part of this panel is the background right above Kieran's hair. That lighting right there.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Oh,
the
yes.
movement.
Ooh, I loved that.
Okay. Can't figure out if you're serious or if you just want to be like as not romantic as possible.
I mean, Fwoot does art, so I could believe it.
True.
Probably both.
I'll believe either way.
It is very nice.
Either that or Lauren's headband.
And we should also
Now you're
note,
doing that on purpose.
their hands are clutching. Her hand is on his shoulder. Their shoulders are touching. Just a lot of proximity here.
Like, bruh, I
We love
imagine being that close to someone's face. That like, imagine being that close to this man's face.
Oh my god, I would just knee him in the crotch.
Why? What did he do to deserve it?
At this point,
He
at
murdered
this point,
hundreds of people. That's what he did.
He murdered dozens of people. First,
No, he has the highest kill count in the Phantom Scythe. In the Phantom Scythe,
I mean, yeah, I'll believe
the
it.
Phantom
He
Scythe
killed
took
hundreds.
responsibility for the ATST, and like what, 200 people died there?
Yeah,
There
no,
was
but
like
that's not one person
300
necessarily. So
something. I think.
yeah, and also you can't pin that on Kieran. He would have been like a child.
A
Yeah, he didn't do
child.
that, but he still does have the highest kill count in the Phantom Scythe.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they said, or at least they speculate, I think back in episode 5, it was like, they say he has the highest kills than anyone in the PS combined. And it's like, oh.
I wouldn't count the ATST in that though, because that's kind of like a group thing.
True.
Not like no one assassin did it. I think they were talking in terms of assassins.
I mean, true. I feel like the train station was like a whole, we don't count that. That was like a milestone marker. But I feel like the rest is kind of like the underlings, the assassins. He's got more than any of them.
Maybe like I'd say the leader would take responsibility for the ATST, but I don't think it should be ruled out of Phantom Scythe murders.
No, it wouldn't be a rule
No.
out of murders, but it's more of an act of terrorism than like an assassination, where like you would use assassination like kill counts on people to like measure their skill, probably in the Phantom Scythe. So like, let's say there's other assassins around, like they might keep like score of their kills. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen Deadpool. There's a thing with like all the mercenaries and like how much they've got, like how many kills they have in the Deadpool movie. I just remembered that. But yeah, they have something like that. So who knows? Some people will probably be keeping score. Knowing the Phantom Sect, they probably have betting pools on like murders because but like who knows? But I would say like that would probably be included, but beyond numbers. So if anything, that just means they've killed even more people than like you have to combine assassinations and terrorist activity together.
Mhm. No, because I don't know.
Last panel,
Mhm.
she leans in even closer, puts her lips to his ear and says, "I've got our man." And you can just like feel her breath and like that her long eyelashes like just tickling his skin or almost there.
Mhm.
Oh,
Like, dude, in a
Bite
way,
his
I
ear
like.
off, Lauren.
Okay, like in a way, I like this panel more than the other panel because it's just it's the how do I
Intimacy.
describe this? Yeah, it's the intimacy where it's like she's just whispering in his ear, like with the most confident face, and I love it. I love it so much. It is yes.
Shout out
he's
to the
still
ribbon
caught
in
off guard,
Kieran's
like
hair.
he hasn't, reeled back or anything. He's still like frozen in place, which means either he's just too shocked and he can't react, or he likes it.
I don't know. And then also, I don't think we've touched on this too much, but throughout this entire episode, if you read it with like the music and everything, it is so like you can feel like the intimacy. You can feel like the proximity. You can feel the sexual tension. I will say it there. You can feel it.
Bro, I read this. This was the last episode. Like I said, this is the last episode I read before I was caught up with PH officially. I caught up on a Monday. I had just gotten out of my first class in college for the day, and I walked over to the next one, which was right in the building next door. So I had like 10 minutes in between. So I had my headphones in. I'm just there like just like, oh my God. And then I finished it and I was just like, oh my God, I have to wait. And I was like, what day does this update? And then it said new episode tonight. I was like, yes. And it was just like, this was the last thing I saw before I was officially caught up with PH. And I was just like, yes.
Nice. That's awesome that you remember.
I remember it so clearly because it was like a reset in my head when I found PH. Like
Aww.
it was like I remember it so clearly. It's just like, oh, so good. Thank you, Webtoon, for putting out banners. It brings in more readers than you know.
Yes.
Please put out more banners for your slightly less popular stuff. They will become popular.
Mhm.
I don't need to see another banner for Unholy Blood. Y'all have one like every single day.
Honestly.
It's good, but
right, guys, come on. We got some gems in the background. Being underappreciated.
do a coin giveaway. God.
Please. Please.
Whew. Okay. What should we do to end off this episode?
Keep scrolling because
Yeah.
there's the little the surprise at the end of this episode.
We have what?
You don't remember this,
You
Mindy?
don't remember
Mindy,
this?
have you never
Oh
seen
my
it?
God. No, even when I reread it today, I didn't scroll past this.
Well, keep going.
Keep
Tell us what
going.
you see,
So
Mindy.
yes, she is she kind of looks like there's another close-up, but this time she's like withdrawing and she has this like confident smirk on her face, like, haha, got you there. I think so. That's how I would interpret her face anyway. Then we have it looks like it's supposed to be Soph, I think. This little woman sitting with a basket full of petals. It says $30. She's throwing them into the wind, and then she turns to face the audience and she just gives this Cheshire grin. Trolled much.
She knew what she was doing to us.
She totally knew, and this is why I hate it here. We are constantly trolled, and I don't know.
But it's too good. We can't we accept the
good.
trolling.
We
Thank
do
you.
because it gives us immaculate spice, and it's worth it.
Yes. I love the creator's note. I apologize, but I'm not sorry. Smiley face.
Yep.
Indeed.
Oh, thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw it the first time, like when I read it, but I didn't realize it was in this episode. Cool. Cool.
I swear, I love to read like the top comments on each episode, and just one of them is like, I'm sure he'd also be interested in what you can do with handcuffs. Lauren is like,
oh my God.
Oh, I thought of a good way to end this episode.
Mhm.
Which scene if you had to choose one scene to be in Purple Hyacinth, like either to be as Lauren, as Kieran, whatever, or any character, which scene would you want to be in? And I don't know, this scene I think is a pretty high up there for me. It's pretty a nice scene to be in.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind being Lauren here.
No, I can't dance though, so I'd probably step on his feet. But other than that,
because I'd love to be in this scene so much, but I don't do tango, so I'm just like, Yeah.
Oh, I've learned. I'd be like, Tango, sign me up.
No, I would learn purely just for this, and it'd be glorious.
There's a lot of good chances in this episode for Lauren to stab Kieran. So if I had to be in this episode, that's what I would be doing. But for me, I would say probably 15 and 16
Oh, those are fun.
Oh,
of like the episodes that we've done so far. There's some
Yeah.
more episodes I would love to be in, but yeah.
yeah.
Oh
ones
yeah,
that
of
we've
course. We can't bring up some of those.
Oh.
And like
21. 20.
with me,
Bundin,
I usually
Fireman.
fine. You probably just want to be in the one panel with the posture.
Mhm.
Just like Photoshop her head on Lauren's head. Like,
No. Me takes a photo in the exact angle just to I don't know.
I think
I swear I'm not that much of a simp. I swear.
there's one recent episode, like it's not super recent, but like from like a month or so back.
Oh, I know
I
what
would
you're
want to
talking
be in that
about.
episode. I think you guys know which one it is.
Yes.
I think, yeah, we know.
Yeah.
I wonder which one it could be.
I wonder.
Does it have anything to do with a certain purple color?
Mm.
No, that was
well,
vague. That was good.
No.
Nobody's gonna get that unless they know. So that's good.
No, why do I have a feeling Fwoot would also choose the scene in a certain recently released episode?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Square up.
Yeah.
I'm about to deck someone.
That's actually the first one I thought of before.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Wow. Okay, we're making. I think people who are listening to this are probably caught up, but like, if anyone isn't, they're probably very confused at this point. But anyway.
Anyways.
Just keep reading.
Keep reading. It gets
They're all out. You don't have to wait for them like we did.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone else want to not or want to say a scene without saying a scene? Okay, I'm gonna say a scene without saying a scene that I really
Okay.
that probably is my preference. My favorite scene that I'd want to be part of involves. Okay, let's see how I can say it. This will be fun. Involves a warm cave. That's the scene.
Oh, I know. Oh, yes.
That's where I want to be.
Hmm.
And I can't say anything else, but that's my scene. Okay,
That's
what's
fair.
your scene, Bundin and Firedancer?
My scene. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna go for this one. You know what? My scene involves a bar.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Oh, I love that one.
Just that. Y'all know how that goes. That's just because I miss being able to go to bars.
Good choice.
I don't feel that, but you know what I mean. I think if I had to pick one, I don't want to say this one because it's pretty obvious, but I will say another one. That's not this episode, but
You can tell us often. We could try and guess.
no, I will say it is a certain very cozy house.
Oh.
Ooh, yes.
Mhm.
Okay, wait,
I
actually,
see
there's
you
several
guys.
cozy
I
houses.
see you.
Wait. Is it a cozy house with an apple or a cozy house with a couch?
Oh, good question. It is a cozy house with, I believe, what's the word I'm looking at? Cozy house with a needle. That
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
That
Oh,
one
that's
did
great.
go through my brain, but then I was like, you know what? I want to be having fun with and then it's just that's all I will say. I want to have some fun.
This was
There's
fun.
also the spectacle episode.
Oh yeah.
That would be pretty cool, right?
Is it this episode?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
I love
That
how
would
we
be
can just
pretty
do
cool.
that. That's all we need. Just like,
We can make this into a trivia game, by the way, on the server one night where like
we could.
you have to say one word and then you have to guess which episode.
Oh
it
my
is.
goodness.
Oh my
wait, I
God,
love that.
yes.
Yes.
Bundin and I, we were trying to come up with like event ideas last night because the
Yes.
anniversary is coming up. So we were like, hey, like what if we did blah, blah, blah,
We're thinking
whatever.
of like all these different things. We probably won't say them yet, but
Yeah.
if once we figure them out, we'll be able to tell you guys. But yeah, we're
Yeah.
brainstorming right now. But yeah.
Mhm.
Everyone.
I'm
As our
just
server, participate in our events. We have fun events sometimes, most of the times.
There's a
Okay.
presentation night. I haven't been at a presentation night, but I've been reading the presentations and I think they're awesome. And I was at the defend your favorite
Defender-
toxic
Oh,
character.
defend your toxic
That
character.
was really good. I was very
That's
impressed with
fun.
the quality of both the prosecution and the defender. It was great.
I keep missing presentation nights. It's my curse. And if we do a presentation night for the anniversary, I might miss it again because that's the day that I move.
No.
Yeah. So, but I will try. I'll hopefully be done moving in by that night. So hopefully.
Cool.
No, I don't care if you're sitting on a box or if you're sitting in a corner. You will make it. I believe in you.
Yeah. I show up, it's like me running in like a marathon and like that music like da, 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 da. It's like,
Imagine like, Bundin sitting on top of a plane, like just trying to get a signal.
I pre-record something and I send it to you guys. God.
Yeah.
But yeah. That could be a fun game. We could definitely do that.
That would be really
Yeah.
fun. I would love that.
Yeah.
Just
Or like a Mad Libs.
Or
maybe.
charades. Yeah.
Yo,
Charades.
charades. Oh my goodness.
Or like Pictionary.
Ooh. Oh, the artist is gonna have the upper edge.
Bruh, y'all would win. And no, like the artist would be over here like drawing like semi-detailed faces. Meanwhile, the rest of us stick figure stabby stab.